YouTube pipe community. OTC Pipe here with a VR Pipe Beards and Guns 100 sub giveaway. He asked for two things: how I came into pipe smoking, and to tell a little something about myself. And I want to tell a little bit about myself when I talk about how I came into pipe smoking, and we'll go on from there. But first, started with my great-grandfather, who had smoked a pipe, as far back as I can remember. When I was a child, I never really had any ambitions of being a piper like my great-grandfather. I just enjoyed when he did. One of the pipes that he would smoke is this very pipe that I'm holding right now, and I have it loaded up with a blend that he used to smoke. This is a BBK, nicknamed Brew Boo. Brew Hoffner was one of the makers, and I don't know the other guy off the top of my head. I have it written down somewhere. I did a little bit of studying on it. They started making pipes in the late part of the 1800s, and they were dramatically reduced in number during the, just after the Great Depression. And they got a little bit of a resurgence, I think in the 60s. I might be messing that up though. I have researched it, I just don't have that information right here in front of me. But yeah, this pipe is one that came out of his estate. My grandfather, my great-grandfather's son, presented it for me. And I remember how much I liked this pipe when I was a kid. It was like the old Army style. It had the little wind cover and everything. And he never, really went out in windy conditions with it or anything. It was just in his drawer in his pipe rotation, and I really liked it. So this is the one I chose to smoke for this VR. Got some Prince Albert loaded up in it. He was himself an OTC piper. A lot of the drugstore blends. And I would say that's probably where I get my affinity for the OTCs. Still going strong after so many years. Okay. As a child, I enjoyed the smell of his pipe as it, when I'd go visit him and my great-grandmother. The aroma would just fill the house, and you knew wherever you were at in the house, you knew when he just lit his pipe. And I really liked that. As I grew up, I dabbled in cigars a little bit. In the dark years of being a teenager, I spent some time with cigarettes and all that, and thankfully got out of that. But I dabbled in cigars. Not to any significant level though. When I was 23 in 2003, I was deployed to Baghdad. I was stationed there at the Baghdad International Airport shortly after the siege. And when it finally got to where things kind of settled in and we were able to go out and about and things like that, we went to some of the bazaars. We call them Haji Marts, but we were kind of told not to talk, because that's a derogatory term. I didn't know it at the time. I was, I was just a kid. My, first major deployment into a combat zone. Of course, I've been deployed in other capacity. Well, I guess you would call it a bazaar. And they had cigars there, and you could get Cubans there, where we can't get them here in the States. So I thought, I'm going to try to, I want to get some of these Cubans, because here they're so great. So I got some, and I took them back to our, I guess we'll call it barracks. We were in GP medium tents. for 13 months. Hard to call them barracks, but went back to the place that we slept, I guess you would say. And I had a little plywood deck out in front of our tent. We put some folding camp chairs out, when we were just, had time to, at the end of our duty shift, to relax for a little while. I'd take the Cuban out there, and, I was expecting fireworks to go off in my mouth, and to my surprise, they were okay. They definitely were not bad cigars. I was just expecting a lot more. When I returned stateside, I found that I like the Nicaraguan cigars a lot more. And there was a shop in Arlington I would go to. This is years after that. There's a 2-level, the first story was all pipes. And then you'd go up some stairs and there'd be a sitting area and 2 walk-in humidors. It was a pretty nice place. A guy named Clint was working the bottom floor. Really interesting guy. I liked going in and talking to him quite a bit. He was working the pipe level. He was a piper as well. And, I'd walked up and got my cigars and everything. I'd wander down and look at the pipes and everything. And he got me into smoking pipes. Basically told me, if I like cigars, I might want to give pipes a try. They didn't have any inexpensive pipes there. They had gray bows, which I guess are inexpensive pipes. When I was looking into getting started, I was even hesitant to spend even that much until I knew that I really liked it. So I went and picked me up a Missouri Meerschaum, just the regular Washington cob pipe, and some Captain Black Original. Got off to a rocky start. I know there were resources at the time. I didn't have the YouTube pipe community. It was years before I would even find that. But I kept at it. Even went in to talk to Clint about it, and he showed me some things. And I was still primarily a cigar smoker, and pipes started to slowly take over, to the point now to where I rarely pick up a cigar. And not that I dislike cigars now. It's just that pipes are more to me, I think, now than cigars. And I'm glad for that. I really enjoy my time when I get to sit back and run a little pipe nook and smoke my pipe and read, and kind of, it's a place that I can put everything else aside. The distractions that other common areas have, I can separate myself from them there. So that's kind of how I got into pipes and where I'm at now. So now that I spoke a little bit about myself, I'll go into a little bit more detail. And there is for those that are watching my channel and everything, this is kind of channel news, but I have kind of taken some of the stuff that I'm about to go over into kind of my journey up to this point, because the contemplations video that I'm about to do, where I reference The Alchemist and what I want to talk about, kind of goes into the same along the same lines. I joined the military right out of high school. Since probably my sophomore year, I had this insatiable urge just to join the military when I got out of high school. And I'm glad that I did. It gave me some great experiences and taught me a lot. I was an engineer. That's kind of what I did. In high school we had a lot of industrial technology classes that I got involved in, with drafting and architectural and engineering design. And I kind of continued that into my military time. I've always been artistic in that way. So I joined the military. I was out in, it was 1998 when I served to 2006. Getting married and starting a family life, I just decided to, that my military time had come to an end, and I still did some reserve work and all that, but I focused more on kind of starting in my civilian career. There was a lot of, getting to where I'm at now, there was a lot of disappointment and unhappiness in my career where I was at, because I kept going into the engineering field beyond my military time, and it was a big difference being on the civilian side than on the military side. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was following the wrong aspect of my military career. I was following what I did and not why I did it. I think the satisfaction that I got from my military service was not in the fact that I was doing engineering, but it was in the fact that I was in fact serving. So it was 2016, fast forward 2016, I had been in and out of so many jobs and never could really find one that I was fulfilled in beyond the fact that I got a paycheck for it. And I've always just needed more than that. It was just never enough when I'm just working with the hopes that I'm going to get a paycheck at the end of all this. So I decided I needed to change some things. In 2016, I joined the police academy and graduated in December 2016 and started where I'm at now. I just now finished a year, so it was the previous July, at the beginning of it, when I started in law enforcement. I almost became a history teacher, because I know that if I had completed that, I would love that just as much. The thing that got me on that is I was supporting my family. I was working full-time Monday through Friday. There wasn't, I couldn't find anything that would pay me what I needed to support my family and still allow me to work nights so that I could go to school during the day. A lot of the colleges around had, they had very limited resources for the working class. Nothing in my field, that is. There was other fields I could have gotten into, but when it came to the teaching side of it, it was all during the day. And there was nothing online. I was surprised at that for this particular field. There was nothing online, and very little in the evenings. So I did what I could do until I just got to where I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't finish what I needed to do. So that was kind of disheartening a little bit, but I did find when I went into the police academy, that was a shorter period of time. So I took a night job working security, knowing it was only going to be a temporary thing. It wasn't going to be 2 or 3 years where I was going to have to get my teaching degree. So I was able to do that for a few months while I was doing the academy. I found a company that would graciously allow me to work only the weekends at night, so I could do Monday through Friday. I could be fully invested into my police academy, and the money was not really there, but it was only a temporary thing. I know that I could do that for a few months rather than a few years, so I was able to do that, get my police academy completed, and I'm very glad that I did, and I'm very happy with what I'm doing now. So anyways, that's a little bit about me and how I came into pipe smoking. Pipers and Guns, congratulations on your subs, and look forward to more great content from your page. I really enjoy what you're doing, so keep it up, and I'll sign off with that. OTC Piper wishing everybody all the best. Here's to good times and a warm pipe.